Well, hi Yannick. It is so nice to be meeting with you again. We were just talking about how we first met you back in 2019 at the Cannes Film Festival, which now feels like absolutely ages ago.
Yeah, with all of the markets moving online, it just has not been the same at all. So it's good to have you on the call to discuss things almost as we would have done at the market.
Absolutely. For people though that might not have seen our previous conversation and doesn't know what company you work for and that sort of thing, could you just briefly sort of introduce yourself and FizzeMotion?
Yes, sure. So pleasure for me to see you again after such a long time. So I'm Yannick Rudynski. I'm the CEO of Fizz-e-Motion. Fizz-e-Motion is an international distribution company or sales agent. I'm based in Vienna, and the company is located in Austria and in Hungary, both countries. Yeah. So we operate from Vienna and Hungary. We specialize in distributing European content to the world. So we prefer to work with thrillers, with romantic comedies. We really like them, science fiction, and any kind of good movies that we can find. Yeah.
Amazing. That's very good news for our European-based festivals as well as our
Absolutely.
other international festivals as well, to hear that you're looking for European content across lots of different genres. I guess that leads us straight into our first question of what is trending at the moment? What are you seeing is moving in the marketplace a lot?
Well, I would say the always the same,
Yeah.
unfortunately. It's because of what people likes, and that's it. So we got the thrillers; they always do well. The horror movies are also doing well if they're well made. Romantic comedies, again, if they are well made, they do well. Um, what else? Science fiction, of course, are doing well. Um, and yes, action, but I mean, action, it's very complicated to do. It's
Of
expensive,
course.
and if it's not expensive, it doesn't look good. So yeah. But yeah, basically those genre which always did well are still doing well, and now we see that some new, I would call them niche genre, are coming, like a little bit of fantasy, thanks to capacity of producing movies with more special effect. It's getting cheaper and cheaper,
Yeah.
and also erotic content is coming back, which was trending in the 70s, 80s, and now it's coming back thanks to movies like 365, or what's the other one? 50 Shade of Grey. Sorry, I haven't watched it, so I forgot it.
No,
Uh,
no,
No.
this is really interesting because, like, yeah, you can definitely see the trends in these things on like the streaming platforms.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
so I guess how long would you say like the trend has been moving towards these things? Is this really you're talking like over the last several years since releases of books like that, or is this something that's really new?
No, it's well, I mean, new. It depends of course, of what you consider new or not.
Of
But
course.
in terms of production, I would say it's pretty new. It's like 3, 4 years old, and we start to see more and more production like that. Not only from the US, we have some from Poland. 365 is from Poland.
Yeah.
Um, they're doing the second one now. I know that they are also thinking about the third one, and there are plenty of other countries who start to produce their own stories like that. Usually, it's based on a book, successful book, but I mean, it's the door is open for any kind of creative people. So, yeah.
For people who are currently in pre production or even development, what would you say have been the shifts that have occurred in trends because of the COVID situation? Is there anything you've noticed, like how it's affected viewing habits? Therefore, we kept hearing family friendly for a long time because
Yeah.
people were locked inside. They were engaging with content with their whole household. Yeah, would you say there's anything that's a real recent shift?
Yes, definitely. The movies. that were sought to go to theater are becoming a little bit more rarisome, I would say, because no one is sure about what's going to happen. So I guess it's not cancelled; it's postponed for later on. And I've seen more like content made for VOD or sought for VOD and TV, and it's it's not bad things, I would say, because if you produce a film which aim to go to theater and you can't go to theater, it's a disaster. And unfortunately, we've seen this summer that theater reopened, and now it seems that they're going to close again. So there's pretty big risk here, and I completely understand that people are postponing their release or their production. We've seen it with James Bond, the last James Bond. So yeah.
Yeah, and James Bond did amazing at the box office, especially in the UK. So for them, it was beneficial to hold back and build up that suspense until they were able to release it properly. And I'm so glad Dune has also been released in theatres, because that is a cinematic experience. And it just will not be the same if someone's watching it on a laptop or on a TV screen. So I do think that keeping cinema alive is so important.
But equally interesting that it can be something that you can take advantage of as an indie filmmaker. Absolutely. If you're never going to have the access to sort of the budgets required for a theatrical release. So I think for a lot of our filmmakers, it will be super interesting to hear what you're saying, Yannick, about sort of preparing what kind of distribution you think you want when you're even making and designing like your content.
It of course depends a lot of what kind of content you're producing. But there are films which need to go to festivals, which need to go to theaters, and some other they don't necessarily need it. I'm thinking about some thrillers with no big cast. They don't need to go to theater. There's no need for that. But some heavy, good, strong drama, they have to go. They need to go to festivals. They need to go to theater. Of course, everything which is big has to go, but I mean, we're not talking about that now. It really depends of what kind of films you're doing, you're producing. Yeah, I couldn't tell you right now which one. It's very hard. It's case by case, and just by experience, I can tell you we just acquired a new Belgian movie, which has to go to festival, which has to go to theater, and I have to say I'm a bit stressed, because if the pandemic is booming again, what am I going to do? You know, no festivals or online festivals, not really the same, and no theatrical release. So I keep my finger crossed that theater will.
Yeah, so do we. We're really, next year we're looking to open all of our festivals again and reintroduce live screenings around the globe. We're in 12 cities, so we have moved everything online and it has been working well, but we now want to get back into the cinema spaces as well.
Absolutely.
It's interesting what you're saying about VOD, and something that we've been talking about quite a bit here at Liftoff is TVOD, so transactional VOD. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's an opportunity, it's a chance. I remember when I started in the film business, the VOD was not that developed, and many good film couldn't be released or watched by people at the other side of the world because there was no VOD, no possibility to stream. Sorry. Now, anyone who makes a good film has the chance to be distributed thanks to the VOD. So for me, that's an opportunity. It's a chance. And I don't see this as something bad. Of course, there will always be some people who will complain about it, but not me. I see this as, first of all, let's imagine you can't have your movie into theater because of the pandemic. Just put it on VOD, still you can release it. And you can't meet distributors because of the no market. You can always send them the films, they screen it, they like it, they put it on VOD in their markets, and that's it. And this is much more easier than the other way around with the theatrical release. If it's not possible, then it's dead. Then no, that gives much more chance to indie filmmakers.
Amazing. So we've spoken about like what content you're kind of looking for and that sort of thing, and trying to plan ahead and think about what kind of distribution route you might want to take. But what we haven't really spoken about is approaching people like yourself. So sort of what is the advice you give to, in particular, indie filmmakers in terms of how to get in touch with industry professionals when seeking
Let's
distribution?
I would say it hasn't changed a lot for since years. For me, the best way to approach is to send me an email, not too long, not too short. Like, hey Yannick, I'm a filmmaker. I'm working on this film. This is a thriller, or this is a romantic comedy. That's the story. Short synopsis. Would you be interested to know more? Yes, no. If I say yes, then you can send, your material, presentation, script, everything. I read, and I come back to you and I tell you, yeah, I really like the project. Let's have a Zoom call. Let's talk about it. And that's how we start to collaborate together. And when the market will happen again, the same. We take an appointment. You send what you have. I tell you if I like it or not. And if I like it, we just follow up. And instead of doing a Zoom meeting, we do a real meeting. And that's it. And I'm always answering. So I'm not, even if I'm not interested, I just simply say no. I can't like everything, but I'm always answering. I know that not everyone is doing it. And in that case, I would say insist a little bit. If emails are not working, try the phone call. And if the guy is not answering, I wouldn't say that. I would say don't insist that much, because then this is the kind of relation that you will have during the entire cycle life of your film with the sales agent. Doesn't make sense. Work with someone that trusts in you, that you can call, you can email, and he will answer you. You know that, and it's, I think, better for everyone.
Absolutely. We have a saying here that we are always looking for an excited yes or a quick no. If you're excited and it's a yes, then you know that person becomes reliable, that you can email and phone. Yeah. And if it's a no, then move on to the next person. There are so many different avenues to go down, so many sales agents and distributors.
Absolutely. Completely agree.
Like you're in a rare minority, though, of people who are really open-minded to unsolicited emails. Because we hear from so many people like, no, don't email us. We work with our own network of talent, and that's really difficult, because then the question, of course, is, well, how are you supposed to get a foot in the door? Do lots of sales agents and distribution companies have things like producer meets, or how do you sort of develop a producer relationship with a sales agent if they don't take emails like you do? What would your advice be?
I would say don't work with them. They might lose an opportunity. They might lose a good cooperation. They might lose a nice movie. It really takes 5 minutes to read the email and say yes or no. I really don't get it. So a funny thing is, sometimes I write to really big companies for different things like Lionsgate, Sony. Those guys, they are busy. I mean, really busy.
Yeah.
Till they answer. And I don't believe that a small company with 5 employees doesn't have 1 minute to say, hi, sorry, I'm not interested, or yes, please send me more information. That's arrogance, I would say. Yeah.
Wow. Great. Okay. So do you see the landscape of the distribution landscape changing in the near future, or do you think markets will still be around?
I really hope that the market will still be around. We need them.
Yeah, so do we.
Yeah, it's, for me, I'm from this generation where I need to meet the people. I need to not only to have a Zoom call 40 minutes, because it's only 40 minutes. I really need to meet the people, to discuss with them, not only talking about the film, but talking about who they are, what they do. That's an adventure. So when you you go on a trip somehow with those people, and you want to know with who you're traveling to. If you work with someone, let's say you are deeply an ecologist person, and the guy you're talking to is completely clima-sceptic guy. How can you work with this guy? That's personal relation, and you need to know a little bit about this things. It's not only about making a film, selling a film, distributing a film. It's also you work together for at least at the beginning 2 years, and then another 5 years. So for me, it's important to physically meet the people, hang out with them, have a drink, talk regularly, write SMS, whatever, WhatsApp. But I really need this contact. I'm missing it. I have to say that no market, no festival, it's becoming really tough now. And that's why I really hope that Berlin will happen, that we can all meet again together. And I don't think that even when the COVID will be finished, that market will stop. Some guy says, "Oh, that's so convenient. I don't need to travel. I don't spend money," which is true. But for me, the relation will never be the same than if I meet for sure, for real, the guy.
It's definitely true. We've definitely seen a decline in responses since moving everything online, where we have the opportunity to go to markets and meet someone at a party, or go to the Marché du Film and just walk around and just say hello. The engagement level went so much higher than what we're getting at the moment. So I'm excited for markets, and hopefully we will be in Berlin as well at EFM.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And also you meet people at the market, and you really usually you have more time than when you do this online. Mm-hmm. And let's say you really like the project, but there's something that doesn't work in the script or whatever. You have time to discuss about it, to argue with the other one, to discuss point of view, and you somehow build also the project with him. And this, unfortunately, you don't do it online. Maybe you send an email, "I don't like that, please change it," and that doesn't work like that. This is a cooperation where you need to discuss, and this you can only do it when you meet the people, not online.
That's actually an interesting point. So speaking of things that you don't like or things that don't work, what would you say are the main problems, so to speak, that you encounter with projects that you therefore turn down? If you were to sort of give like your top 3 tips for what to avoid, what would that be?
Yeah. I personally try to never put my own taste into the project, because that's not my project. So I try to keep some distance and just to stay technical on what I see.
So objectively, what are the areas that filmmakers fall down on?
Okay, yeah. So I would say that the mistakes that we see. Usually when we meet young director filmmakers, they're very motivated, and they come to us with what they think is a package. They think that their project is package, and it's package for them, but it's maybe not package for other people. And they have a certain form of stubbornism. I don't know how to say. You try to explain them something, and they don't want to listen to you because they worked on their pitch, they worked on their project for a long time, and they're like, "No, I'm sure it's going to work."
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's going to work. It's a conviction, but it's not an argumentation. That's not something which is technically acceptable, because it's based on your own belief and not on something business. So this, we see it quite a lot, that young director, young filmmaker, they don't really want to listen to advice, or when you tell them, "I'm very sorry, but what you've made, it's nice, but it's not going to work because I know by experience," and blah blah. Mm-hmm. They say, "No, mine is going to work." Okay, Well, good luck.
So openness to take on board feedback
Yeah.
and make those changes. Okay.
To go back to the packaging though, because I think we could like dive in a little bit deeper into what you mean there. So they think they've packaged up their project correctly, but you say they actually haven't though for people like yourself in the market. So what does a properly packaged project look like?
Well, it has to it depends, of course, of at which level of the production you are.
Sure.
But I would say you need to be very sure with your budget, which is important, and then have a clear idea of what kind of cast you need or you want. Then the script also has to be strong. So you can't come with a script and say, but if you don't like it, we change it. It shows a certain uncertainty, which doesn't look good. And then, yes, distributor is important. So let's say if you are an English producer, filmmaker, the most important won't be the sales agent. It's going to be your local distributor. So it's already good if you come to us and say, oh, I'm thinking about this one, and this one for distributing my movie, rather than I have 20 sales agents interested. Because from my point of view, the most important is always the domestic market, not the international market. We're not Hollywood. When producer makes film, they should always think of their domestic market and not like, I want to have a worldwide success. It's too complicated. Start to be the king in your own city, and then you will be the king of the world. But you can't do the other way around.
Yeah, I love that quote. Start by being the king in your own city. Yeah, great advice. Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is almost everything. Is there any other final thoughts from yourself, Claire?
I don't think so. It's just been really interesting to hear how like yours is from a more like traditional approach, and I think that's really exciting, but still from such an indie filmmaker's perspective. And we love that you work with such upcoming talent and indie work and lower budget works, which is why we always love speaking to you and hearing your thoughts.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I mean, I have movies which are very low budget and still they do very well. So for me, it's not a matter of budget, it's a matter of talent. And if you have a good film, good script, good crew, good actors, you are a good director. I mean, it has to be good, of course, because that's how the business works. But if you are good at everything, it's going to work. It's really not a matter of budget. I can't tell you the budget of the film that I have because it's in the contract and I'm not allowed to do it. But
that was going to be my next question.
I have movies which are starting at $200,000.
Yeah.
Are much more expensive, millions, of course. And I can really tell you, it's not a question of budget. It's a question of how the movie is made. If it's well made, if the story is interesting, it's going to work. So I would say no stress with the budget. Just work on the story and on how. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a nice place to sort of round off.
Absolutely. I hope that has been inspiring for our filmmakers to listen to and know that they can do it as well. Just nailing down that script and reaching out and being positive and open and attending markets, because filmmakers can attend markets themselves as well, which is interesting to think that it's just the elite that can attend. But no, everyone can go to a film market.
Everyone can go,
Everyone's invited. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Yannick, for joining us on today's call.
You're very welcome.
And I look forward to seeing you in Berlin.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. I booked already my ticket and everything, so...
well, you're ahead of us, but we'll be doing it. We will be doing it, because our Berlin Festival runs alongside the actual Berlinale, so I think it's a few days before, so we literally go from our festival straight into the market.
Oh, great.
Perfect. Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yannick.
Thank you, girls. Bye.